Your soulmate just wrote you a secret love letter. It disappears in 5 minutes. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. The evening had settled into an unusual calm. The sounds of the day slowly faded until all that remained was the gentle ticking of a clock and the quiet breeze moving outside your window. It felt like an ordinary moment, the kind most people would barely remember, yet this imagined story begins with something unexpected. Resting on a small wooden table is a beautiful envelope unlike any you have ever seen. There is no postage stamp, no return address, and no clue about where it came from. Across the front, written in graceful handwriting, are only a few simple words, for the one who still believes kindness matters. Curious, you carefully lift the envelope, noticing how surprisingly light it feels. As you gently open it, a single folded page slips into your hands. At the very top, written with remarkable care, you read, "If these words have found you, they are not here to predict your future. They are here to remind you of the kind of future your everyday choices can help create." You pause, reading the sentence twice. It is not mysterious because it promises impossible secrets. Instead, it feels meaningful because it speaks about something entirely within your control. As you continue reading, the letter describes someone who quietly admires your resilience, not because life has always been easy for you, but because you continued showing kindness even when circumstances became difficult. It speaks of the quiet strength required to encourage others while carrying your own challenges, of choosing patience during misunderstandings instead of anger, and of remaining hopeful when disappointment could easily have taken its place. Somewhere else in this imagined story, your soulmate sits beside a softly lit window holding an identical copy of the same letter. They think about all the moments when fear convinced them to stay silent instead of expressing gratitude. They remember opportunities to apologize that slipped away because they kept waiting for perfect timing. Looking back now, they realize that meaningful relationships are rarely strengthened by extraordinary events alone. They grow through dependable actions repeated consistently across ordinary days. They wish they had understood sooner that appreciation spoken today carries far greater value than appreciation delayed until tomorrow. Returning to the letter, you notice another sentence written beneath the first. Please read every line before the words begin to fade. Not because the paper is magical, but because every opportunity to express kindness has its season. You smile gently at the symbolism. The letter explains that its 5-minute limit represents the way moments quietly disappear if we continually postpone what truly matters. A heartfelt thank you left unsaid, an apology delayed for too long, encouragement never spoken, or time not shared with the people who matter most can slowly become memories instead of opportunities. The pages encourage slowing down enough to notice life's ordinary blessings before they quietly pass by. As you continue reading, memories begin returning one after another. You remember a teacher who believed in you when confidence was difficult to find, a friend who patiently listened during challenging seasons, and family members who expressed care through simple everyday actions rather than dramatic speeches. Those memories remind you that genuine love is often recognized through consistency instead of grand gestures. Your imagined soulmate reflects on similar experiences, realizing that some of the greatest expressions of affection came from people who simply remained dependable through changing seasons of life. The letter continues by describing an old clockmaker who spent decades repairing timepieces for people throughout his village. Whenever someone thanked him for fixing a treasured watch, he would quietly smile and say, "I repair clocks so people remember that every minute carries the chance to choose kindness." At first the customers thought he was speaking only about time, but years later many realized he had been talking about life itself. Every passing minute offers another opportunity to encourage someone, forgive where appropriate, appreciate what already exists, or become a little more patient than yesterday. As those thoughts settle into your heart, your eyes happen to drift toward a nearby clock displaying 11:11. Earlier in the afternoon you noticed 222 printed at the bottom of a receipt, and during an evening walk you smiled after seeing 444 above the entrance to an old building you had passed countless times before. Many people enjoy treating repeating numbers like these as reminders to pause, breathe, and reflect. Whether viewed as meaningful coincidences or simply personal prompts for mindfulness, the letter encourages using them as invitations to ask thoughtful questions such as, have I shown gratitude today? Have I spoken with honesty? Have I encouraged someone who needed hope? Rather than searching those moments for certainty about tomorrow, you decide to let them guide your attention toward today's opportunities. Every page gently repeats the same timeless lesson in different ways. Meaningful relationships are built through trust, respect, compassion, humility, and dependable care expressed consistently over time. As you reach what appears to be the final paragraph, something unexpected happens. The words at the bottom of the page begin fading ever so slightly, as though the ink itself is quietly disappearing. Beneath the fading sentences, another folded page slowly slips from inside the envelope. Unlike the first, this page is sealed with a small crimson wax mark, and written across the front are 7 unforgettable words, "Open this before the final minute disappears." Holding the sealed page in your hands, you suddenly realize that the most important message may still be waiting inside, and whatever it contains could change the way this entire imagined story is understood. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Imagine this as an emotional, inspirational story created for reflection and entertainment. It is not a claim that a real love letter exists or that someone is secretly trying to contact you. With careful hands, you gently break the crimson wax seal and unfold the second page, wondering why it had been hidden separately from the first. The paper feels older, softer, almost as though it has been opened many times before by someone who never wanted to forget the words written inside. At the top of the page, a single sentence immediately captures your attention: love is remembered less by perfect moments and more by consistent kindness. You pause, allowing those words to settle into your heart. They are simple, yet they seem to answer questions many people quietly carry for years. As you continue reading, the letter explains that the greatest misunderstandings in life often begin with silence rather than conflict. Gratitude remains unspoken because people assume there will always be another opportunity. Apologies are delayed because pride disguises itself as patience. Encouragement is postponed because tomorrow feels guaranteed, until one day tomorrow quietly becomes yesterday. Somewhere in this imagined story, your soulmate sits beneath the warm glow of a small lamp, reading the same page while reflecting on conversations they wish they had handled differently. They remember times when they wanted to say thank you but convinced themselves the other person already knew. They think about moments when they should have apologized sooner instead of waiting for emotions to become easier to explain. Looking back, they realize that waiting for perfect timing often becomes another way of allowing fear to remain in control. Quietly, they close their eyes and promise themselves that honesty will no longer be postponed by uncertainty. Returning to the letter, you discover another paragraph describing an elderly woman who spent every Sunday writing short notes of appreciation to people who had quietly made her life brighter. Some letters were sent to neighbors, others to old teachers, lifelong friends, or even strangers whose kindness had been remembered years later. When someone once asked why she invested so much time writing those letters, she smiled gently and replied, "People remember compliments for a day, but sincere appreciation can remain in someone's heart for a lifetime." Those words stay with you as you continue reading. The letter gently suggests that many of life's greatest opportunities are not dramatic events but ordinary conversations approached with sincerity. A phone call made before someone expects it. A handwritten thank you note. A patient response during disagreement. A willingness to listen without interrupting. These quiet actions rarely receive headlines, yet they become the foundation upon which lasting relationships are built. As the minutes continue passing, the ink near the edges of the page begins fading ever so slightly, reminding you of the symbolic 5-minute limit described earlier. The disappearing words seem to whisper an important lesson: meaningful opportunities do not remain available forever. That thought encourages you to think about people who have quietly shaped your own life. You remember encouraging words spoken when you needed them most, simple acts of generosity that arrived unexpectedly, and moments when someone believed in you before you believed in yourself. At that same moment, your imagined soulmate glances toward a nearby clock displaying 11:11. Earlier in the afternoon they happened to receive receipt number 222, and while walking home they smiled after noticing 444 above the entrance of an old library they had passed countless times before. Many people enjoy treating repeating numbers like these as reminders to pause, breathe, and reflect. Whether viewed as meaningful coincidences or simply personal prompts for mindfulness, your imagined soulmate welcomes each appearance as an invitation to ask one thoughtful question. Have I expressed appreciation while I still have the opportunity? Instead of searching those moments for predictions about the future, they decide to act in the present. They send a heartfelt message thanking someone who quietly encouraged them through difficult seasons. They apologize for a misunderstanding they had allowed to remain unresolved. They call a family member simply to ask how they are doing without needing any special occasion. With every small action, they begin noticing a remarkable change. Peace does not arrive because every problem disappears. It grows because kindness is finally being expressed instead of postponed. The letter continues by explaining that trust is rarely built through extraordinary promises but through ordinary reliability repeated over time. Every promise kept becomes another reason to believe. Every honest conversation strengthens understanding. Every act of compassion quietly replaces fear with confidence. Slowly, the fading ink reaches the final lines of the page. You hurry to read them before they disappear completely. They simply say, "Do not spend your life waiting for perfect words. Speak with sincerity, act with kindness, and let gratitude become part of your daily routine." As the final sentence fades into the paper, you believe the letter has revealed everything it intended to say. But just as you begin folding the page, your fingers discover something hidden inside the envelope's inner lining. Carefully tucked into a small secret pocket is one final folded page, sealed with dark blue wax. Across the front, written in elegant handwriting, are 6 unforgettable words: "The greatest truth has been saved." Your heart begins to race as you realize the most important part of the letter has not yet been read, and whatever waits behind that final seal will change the meaning of everything that came before. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Imagine this as an emotional, inspirational story created for reflection and entertainment. It is not a claim that a real love letter exists or that someone is secretly trying to contact you. You hold the final page in your hands for a long moment before gently breaking the dark blue wax seal, almost afraid that opening it will bring this remarkable journey to an end. The paper unfolds more slowly than the others, revealing handwriting that appears calmer, steadier, and somehow more personal. Across the very top of the page, written in graceful letters, is a single sentence that immediately captures your attention: the greatest love story is not written by destiny alone, but by the everyday choices people make with honesty, patience, and compassion. You read the sentence twice before continuing, noticing that it feels less like a mysterious message and more like wise advice offered by someone who has learned valuable lessons through experience. As your eyes move down the page, the letter begins describing an old lighthouse standing alone beside a quiet coastline. For generations, ships had relied upon its steady light during stormy nights, yet very few sailors ever stopped to thank the lighthouse keeper who climbed the winding staircase every evening to keep the light burning. The letter explains that meaningful love often resembles that lighthouse. It is not always loud or dramatic. More often, it is dependable. It is found in the people who continue showing kindness after difficult days, who remain patient during misunderstandings, who keep their promises when no one is watching, and who quietly encourage others without asking for recognition. Somewhere in this imagined story, your soulmate is reading the same words beneath the soft glow of a bedside lamp. They pause often, reflecting on every relationship that has shaped their life. They remember the friend who answered late-night phone calls without complaint, the family member who quietly sacrificed comfort so others could succeed, the teacher who believed in them before confidence had fully grown, and the stranger whose unexpected kindness changed an ordinary afternoon forever. Looking back, they realized that the greatest expressions of love were rarely announced with grand speeches. Instead, they appeared through consistent actions repeated over months and years. That understanding fills them with quiet gratitude. They recognize that appreciation should never remain hidden until opportunities have passed. Returning to the letter, you discover another story about a woman who planted a small flower garden outside her home every spring. Neighbors often admired the colorful blossoms without knowing that she intentionally planted far more flowers than she could ever enjoy herself. When asked why she spent so much effort caring for something that strangers admired every day, she smiled gently and replied, "Beauty becomes more meaningful when it is shared." The letter explains that kindness works in much the same way. Encouragement shared freely grows stronger. Forgiveness offered sincerely creates room for healing. Honest conversations build trust that no misunderstanding can easily destroy. Those reflections inspire you to think about the people whose quiet goodness has made your own journey brighter. Perhaps they never realized how much their patience, advice, or simple presence meant to you. The letter gently suggests that today may be the perfect time to let them know. As you continue reading, your eyes briefly drift toward a nearby clock displaying 11:11. Earlier in the day you happened to notice 222 on a receipt, and later you smiled after seeing 444 above the entrance to a familiar building. Many people enjoy treating repeating numbers like these as reminders to pause, breathe, and reflect. Whether viewed as meaningful coincidences or simply personal prompts for mindfulness, the letter encourages using those moments to ask thoughtful questions such as, have I encouraged someone today? Have I listened with patience instead of rushing to respond? Have I shown appreciation while I still have the opportunity? Instead of viewing those moments as predictions about the future, you begin seeing them as invitations to become more present in the life already unfolding around you. Meanwhile, your imagined soulmate decides to put the letter's message into practice immediately. They write 3 heartfelt notes before the evening ends. One expresses gratitude to a lifelong friend whose loyalty had quietly carried them through difficult seasons. Another offers a sincere apology for allowing unnecessary pride to delay an important conversation. The final note simply tells a family member, "Thank you for always believing in me, even when I struggled to believe in myself." None of the letters are long, yet each one carries genuine sincerity. As they seal the final envelope, they realize something remarkable. The peace filling their heart does not come from knowing how anyone will respond. It comes from finally choosing honesty over hesitation. Near the bottom of the final page, the handwriting grows larger, as though the writer wants these closing words to remain in your memory long after the paper has faded. Never measure love only by the words someone speaks. Measure it also by the patience they show, the promises they keep, the kindness they offer, the respect they demonstrate, and the hope they inspire in others. You slowly lower the page, allowing every sentence to settle into your thoughts. The envelope no longer feels mysterious. Instead, it has become a quiet reminder that meaningful relationships are strengthened through countless ordinary choices rather than extraordinary moments alone. Just as you prepare to place every page back inside the envelope, something unexpected catches your eye. Hidden beneath the inside flap is a tiny handwritten message you had not noticed before. Written in delicate script are 8 simple words: "One final minute remains. Your choice begins now." You stare at those words in thoughtful silence, realizing that the true ending of this imagined story has never depended upon the letter itself. It has always depended upon the quiet decisions you choose to make after setting it down. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Imagine this as an emotional, inspirational story created for reflection and entertainment. It is not a claim that a real love letter exists or that someone is secretly trying to contact you. You sit quietly, holding the final page in your hands as the last traces of ink slowly begin to fade. One sentence disappears after another until the paper is almost completely blank, yet instead of feeling disappointed, you notice an unexpected sense of peace settling over your heart. It suddenly becomes clear that the purpose of the letter was never to remain on the page forever. Its purpose was to leave something lasting within the person reading it. The disappearing words become a gentle symbol of how quickly opportunities pass when kindness is delayed, gratitude remains unspoken, or important conversations are endlessly postponed. Somewhere in this imagined story, your soulmate reaches the same realization. They carefully fold their copy of the letter and place it inside a favorite book, smiling as they understand that the greatest message was never hidden in mysterious secrets. It was hidden inside ordinary moments that people often overlook. They think about every lesson the letter has quietly taught them, that trust grows through promises kept, that forgiveness often brings peace to the one offering it, that encouragement costs little but can change someone's entire day, and that love is expressed most clearly through consistent actions rather than perfect speeches. The following morning they wake earlier than usual, determined not to let those lessons remain beautiful ideas on a piece of paper. Instead of rushing through another ordinary day, they begin living differently. They send a heartfelt message thanking someone who supported them during difficult years. They call a family member simply to say they were thinking of them. They apologize for a misunderstanding without trying to defend themselves. They listen more carefully during conversations, allowing other people to finish speaking before offering advice. They compliment a colleague's hard work without expecting anything in return. Every small decision feels surprisingly meaningful because each one reflects the values the letter encouraged all along. Later that afternoon, while walking through town, they happened to notice 11:11 displayed on a digital clock in a shop window. Earlier a receipt had ended with 222, and before returning home they smiled after seeing 444 above the entrance to an old building they had passed countless times without noticing. Many people enjoy treating repeating numbers like these as reminders to pause, breathe, and reflect. Whether viewed as meaningful coincidences or simply personal prompts for mindfulness, your imagined soulmate chooses to let each appearance become a quiet invitation to ask, have I made today brighter for someone else? Have I chosen understanding instead of assumption? Have I expressed appreciation while I still had the opportunity? Rather than searching those moments for predictions about tomorrow, they use them as gentle reminders to live more intentionally today. As the days pass, they begin noticing changes that cannot be measured by dramatic events. Their friendships become warmer because they are more present. Family conversations become more honest because they are listening with greater patience. Small misunderstandings are resolved more quickly because pride no longer stands in the way of sincere apologies. They discover that peace is not something that suddenly appears after every problem has been solved. It grows quietly through daily habits of compassion, gratitude, humility, and integrity. Weeks later, while tidying their room, they find the envelope once again. Curious, they open it expecting to see nothing but blank pages. To their surprise, one final sentence has somehow remained visible while every other word has disappeared. The greatest love letter is the life you choose to write through your actions. They smile, recognizing that the sentence no longer feels like advice from someone else. It has become part of the way they now see the world. They realize that every encouraging word, every promise honored, every act of patience, every moment of forgiveness, and every expression of gratitude becomes another line in a story that others will remember long after ordinary days have passed. Before carefully placing the envelope back onto the shelf, they whisper a quiet thank you. Not because a magical letter changed their future, but because it reminded them that meaningful relationships are created through choices made one day at a time. As this imagined journey reaches its conclusion, perhaps its most important message is wonderfully simple. We cannot control every outcome, every conversation, or every chapter that life places before us. What we can choose is the way we treat the people who walk beside us. We can choose honesty instead of fear, patience instead of frustration, understanding instead of assumption, gratitude instead of taking others for granted, and hope instead of giving up. Those ordinary decisions become the truest love letter any person can ever write. Long after ink has faded, paper has disappeared, and memories have grown old, the kindness we leave in the hearts of others continues telling a story that never truly ends.